Hello! So, I've been thinking a lot about how I can make the channel a little bit more active in YouTube's eyes because uploading frequently is one of the ways to benefit from the algorithm. Trying new games and understanding to make reviews or guides takes time, so I need something to fill in the blanks. Since I'm enjoying Fortnite, I thought why not share a bit of my love for Fortnite here as well. I haven't been grinding much on wins in Fortnite for this season, especially with all the new games I've been trying and with work, so I don't have a lot of good footage of a great game. Most of the ones that I did record is an easy or rather lucky win. Sure, I did shoot some of them down, but they are already pressured by the storm. Sometimes they just die in the storm, so that was kinda anticlimactic. Instead of one of those high kill action videos, I thought of sharing something that I made myself, and it's also something that I do every day before I play Fortnite. It is basically a warm-up that I feel helped me a lot before a game. The thing about Fortnite is that it is a high skill game, and because so many actions are involved, you can hear even pros say that they feel like they've gotten worse just by not playing for a day or two, and it could take hours just to get back your edge. Because it is a skill-based game, Fortnite might also face an issue in the future getting newer players, considering that majority would be relatively good at the game and newer players will find it very hard to even survive the first few minutes, which could be demotivating enough to make people not wanting to try or even quit Fortnite. So with all that said, we need a good place to practice, either to just warm back up, or if you are very new, to learn what other people know and has been doing so that you do not keep losing fights, which is why I made this. It's a 3-course creative training ground. It consists of the building and editing course, the survival course, and finally the shooting course. And today I'll be bringing you through my editing and building course. Feel free to share your thoughts about it, and if you think that there is something that I should have included or changed to make it better, just type it down in the comments. Now, I do like to say that I built it based on what I am bad at and things that I feel like I need to be more fluent with. Almost everything in this course can be done by everyone easily, it's just a matter of time. Except maybe just the first and the last part, which could be very frustrating if you couldn't get the timing right. I've seen friends taking a lot of time doing them and even giving up on them. So the first thing you want to do is look for the white door. This is the entrance for the course. There is a chest outside which gives you what you need to go through the entire course. Then you start the timer, and then you come to this part where it shows you a demonstration of what you're supposed to do. Now, if you can't do this well or you find this really hard, you can actually just put a floor down and go to the next part. But I would prefer that you put a floor, a wall, and also a ramp. This is because right after you do a jump like this, I call it a side jump, I don't really know if there's a name for it, but right after you do this jump, you might be, face to face against your opponent and you don't want to get shoot at. So it would be a better idea to practice right after putting the floor down, that you have some kind of cover. Now, in the event of mistakenly built something, or let's say you managed to build a floor but you faced through it, so it ended up above you, that's where the hand cannon come in handy. Any buildings that you mistakenly built here, you can destroy with a hand cannon, so make sure you do it with wood. And you pretty much go through this entire course over and over again. Again, practice makes perfect, so you want to do it so often that you don't really have to think about it when you pull it off. This is the trap course where you practice putting a trap down. It's a cone and then 3 walls, 2 traps, and a floor. If you're really new, you don't have to really put down the floor, but make sure that you have the 3 walls and the cone. Put the cone first, 3 walls, traps, floor, right? If the enemy is really good, sometimes they might edit down their own ramp, and that's where the floor come in handy. You can also do a quick hop to the back and put another wall to fully trap them inside. However, I prefer not having the final wall down, because sometimes you can actually also listen to the enemy. If they start breaking the walls at the side or even the roof, you can actually replace them fast enough such that they remain inside that box. This is actually also another trap practice, but it's off a different angle. And you realize that you can't put the roof on, the cone on at this if you're pressed up against the enemy's ramp. What you want to do is do a slight hop, and it'll push you back, and then you can put the cone. And then you do the exact same thing, right? So again, you go all the way there, you jump, and then you put the cone, put 2 traps, floor, done. And yeah, once you get the hang of it, you know the angle, you don't really have to press yourself against the enemy's ramp that much, and you can just keep doing this over and over again, all the way to the end. It's actually kind of satisfying. It's not that hard to do. It's all about trying to pull it off fast over and over again. That's why there is so many part repeating. Then you come to this part. This part is a little bit messy because it really depends on what you're weak at. I'm pretty bad at putting cones on myself to protect my top. So I am practicing with a ramp cone situation. It really depends on what you want, right? So I'm practicing like this and then editing down to continue the course. But you can also do other things, like for example, you can do a ramp, and then you can do a ramp floor, and then what you need to do is you need to edit down both the ramp and the floor fast. If your timer is running and you want to go through this course fast. But you do have to keep in mind that you want to do this the same over and over again, so that your time is not affected by the type of ramp that you're doing. Because if you do something really complicated, you're obviously going to take more time. Then you come to this part where it's just 2 floors and a ramp, and when you see metal, you're supposed to edit them. So in this case, you're just trying to edit through 2 metals and a ramp. Just keep going like this. It's a very simple course for this part. It's more of a warm-up for the next part, and the next part is kind of a classic, which you'll see in just a bit. Now I realize there are obstacles like a small little piece of wall blocking you. That's actually supposed to make you go to the other side so that you don't end up doing it all in one side. Now this is the part that I'm talking about. A lot of people have this in their course as well. It's basically a wall, a floor, or floor, and then a cone. And then you come across another cone, another floor, and then a wall. So then you just have to edit them and go through them like that. Now there's something I like to talk about, is that if you are up against a cone all the way up, you'll find it really hard to edit it because you're looking forward. So what you need to do is you need to look down. So for example, over here I got stuck, right? So what you need to do is you edit and you stare down and you can click on it. And that is how you can go through really quickly without like moving backwards, because some people would actually do that. You look down and then you can edit it. And yeah, when you come to this part, you have to do a 1x1 all the way to the top. There is a ceiling built. You want to hit that ceiling. If you're really new to the game, I recommend a full 1x1, because this is how I used to train. And I feel like when you're really good at this, it also helps with your 90s, which you're gonna learn later on. So again, you can use your 90s here. It's really up to you on what you want to train. But make sure that if you're doing your 90s, you don't do that extra extension, because some people like to extend outwards to overcome the jump fatigue that they're experiencing after jumping for like 3 times or something. So you don't want to go out of this box area. You want to go up straight. The reason why is because once you hit the ceiling, you actually is supposed to edit your own ramp all the way down. So that will help you master the editing down as well. There's a lot of ways you can do this to go up. There's also the floor ramp technique, which in my opinion, unless you're like saving wood and there's not many people around, this is actually a pretty good way to get elevation. But then in actual matches, 90s and also full 1x1 is probably the thing that you want to use more often to be safe. So once again you reach the ceiling, this is the part where you edit down. Now there's many ways of editing. It's all about getting the rhythm down and also how the hand movement is like. So some people like to edit two boxes so that you have like some kind of circular motion to it. For me, I prefer moving the ramp one side and then opening just the bottom square that I'm standing on. So my position is actually kind of important when I'm editing down. I have to make sure that I'm at one of the corners where I will fall immediately when I open down. And yeah, practice this over and over again as fast as you can. Now once you reach all the way down, you come to this place, which there is like a canal where you follow through, and then there is metal again. So remember, metal means editing. So you have to edit your way up, and this is very time consuming and very tiring, but I feel like it helps me a lot from doing this. Sometimes, I don't know why in creative mode, some pieces seems to be missing and you have to put it in yourself again. It gets kind of frustrating, especially if you're doing something a little bit different. Like this is a lot of repeating structures, so it's a lot easier. Let's say when you find something missing, you just replace it, and that's what I've been doing all this time. But when it comes to the survival course or the aiming course, sometimes you just can't remember what you placed there before, and it gets a little bit frustrating, especially when that happens. So whenever you see a piece missing and you kind of can tell that something's supposed to be there, all you have to do is just build through it. There's really no way around it until they make creative mode a little bit more stable. So building up, again, there's many different ways. I prefer when there's a floor above me, I like to open 2 floors. That way I have more room to move around and also see how the condition is above, because sometimes you can't see the ramp above you and you might be in a very narrow situation. So opening 2 or maybe even 3 might help with that. And also with the ramp, you can rotate it or you can open it up and reset it. It really depends on how you want to go up. Halfway through, you'll start seeing cones, and that's where you start editing cones to go up. You can do, when you're new, you might want to do a 3-way edit. So the way is like you edit to go up, and then you edit again to reset, and then you edit again to create that elevation where you can go up higher. But once you get better at it, you want to start doing things like with only 2 edits. So the first one is to open up, you go up, and then the next one is to reset and also create the elevation for you to go up. Now this part where I do the corner going up, I've seen this done by Tifu, which I thought was pretty cool, and I'm doing it. Sorry about that, fell down. But the more I think about it, it's actually maybe not as good, because you're running from corner to corner, and what happens is that from the 2 points, the 2 ends, is actually a little bit further than running from one side of the wall to the other side of the wall. So turning them into ramp might actually be a little bit faster. You might get the elevation faster than actually going from one corner of the square to the other corner of the square, in my opinion. So once you're done with that, you will actually hit a ceiling that's made of metal. The ceiling is like a floor over here, and then you realize that there is a hole. You're supposed to jump down, and there is a jump pad all the way down, and you want to hit it. Some people have like some kind of anxiety when they're falling from a really high ground. I used to have it, but after playing enough, it seemed to get away. If you do the jump right, you should be able to land at this platform. That is supposedly, if you pull it off flawlessly, you can get that far. And here is the ramp rush. So you can start off with a 3-layer ramp, even a 2-layer, which is basically just a ramp and a wall, because I remember starting off with this when I was really new, and only after I learned how to put down the floor to make a 3-layer ramp like this. And then now I'm actually still trying to master a double 3-layer ramp rush. I can do it like a little bit, but I still kind of like miss a floor sometimes. As you can see, I did kind of poorly over here. Now, you have to make sure that you don't accidentally build on top as well, which I did. This is actually the part where you see pros do it when they try to edit down as fast as possible. Let's say someone's breaking your structure and you're gonna go down as fast as possible. So the way I like to do it is walls and ramps. You can also do walls and floor if you want to, but I find myself phasing through the floor a lot, and for ramps it's not so bad. Now you could jump off and build the walls and down, but I think not jumping is actually faster. And then you come down to this part where you stop the timer. If in the event of you falling down because you made a mistake somewhere or your wall did not connect, there is a super jump tower where you can jump all the way back and you can reset the entire structure by breaking them, and yeah, and do it all over again. To make sure that you at least like did this part of the course or practice this part of the course correctly before you stop the timer. So as you can see, there's still something connecting, so break that and then start editing down again. And that is pretty much the end of the course. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you have improvement as you do this over and over again. The idea here is to get faster with some of the common builds and edits to the point where it's more like a muscle memory than an active action that you have to constantly be thinking about it as you do it. That's the end of the first course that I make myself do every single day before I play Fortnite. It takes me about 15 minutes to warm up. I think it's better than trying to warm up in an actual game, which will take you more time probably. Sadly, we do not have a creator code for this training course, but hopefully if you're patient enough, you can actually build your own. And these are some of the things that I would recommend. Happy Chinese New Year if you are celebrating it, and I'll see you in the next 2 other courses that I've built. Don't miss it. Like, subscribe, have a pleasant day. Bye bye.